Welcome once again to Hunters Entertainment on Twitch.tv. I am Knoxweiler Burf, your game master and guide through the dark and challenging world of survival horror. Tonight, as we do every Tuesday evening, we are playing Outbreak Undead. This game is not for the faint of heart, and I, as the game master, have confirmed consent with each of my players. Our lines and veils have been drawn, and we have safety protocols in place to assist and protect everybody at the table tonight. We ask for your consent, too, and we encourage you to read the content warning closely. This game offers us all opportunities to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in a very enjoyable way. However, we intend to do this through the safe confines of our imagination, having firmly communicated with one another. Please pay attention to those content warnings as we move forward. This story takes bravery and the support of every person at this table, and we are thankful for it. We respect it, we cherish it, and we treat it with respect. Not every character here that is being played tonight has the same objective and motive. Some are working against the other players and are in communication with dangerous outside forces. They may have goals that the two of us have discussed beforehand. Players may be pitted against players. Character may turn on character at any moment. The apocalypse is not a kind place. It is rife with dangers. We intend to fully simulate that here tonight. We hope that you enjoy what we have to offer. You see, there are no magic swords to be discovered here, no valiant knights or castles to hide behind. The dangers in this world are far worse than a dragon or magic. They wear the face of a world that died long ago, and they echo the dying gasp of a civilization that is all too familiar. Still, in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. That is our intention here tonight, and we are thankful that you are here with us on that journey. We seek to show hope in the greatest of darknesses. I would like to thank both JB Jara and Alex Hillman for their endless support. The entire Hunters team has helped us make this campaign happen, and we are very grateful to them. We ask that you also consider scrying into our very own campaign here using the Scry program. We have partnered with Foreteller, and in the panels below, you will be able to engage with the communities of the apocalypse directly. You can take on a role as a survivor yourself and help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are most needed. Your choices will mean the difference between life and death. All of the settlements within the Rag and Bone universe are linked together. And if there are groups and survival camps that you, as our audience, wish to see thrive, you'll have to do more than sit idly by. You'll have to make decisions. You'll have to make choices. You'll have to place your bets on who can undergo the rigors and terrors that this world holds. Who can push forward? Who can forge a new civilization in the ashes of the old? Our tireless undead moderators are in chat now and are prepared to help you in answering any questions that you may have and supporting your efforts. And please, if you enjoy the content here tonight, consider making some noise on social media. Help us to grow. Help us to bring more survivors into the fold here tonight. Join us in our Discord and connect with others that you feel might enjoy this particular brand of dark ride. Enough of all that, however. We're here to play Outbreak Undead, and I'd like to introduce you to the very talented players that we have with us tonight. We are endlessly thankful for their willingness to undergo this journey with us. Allow me to begin by introducing you to Michelle. Michelle, would you please say hello to everyone? Tell people about yourself and where else you might be found on the internet and who you'll be playing tonight.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle and Bradley. Been here for 14 episodes and 16, 15 episodes and counting, and
You've
still
been here for
alive.
15.
That's a lot of clams. Episodes. You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny. I'm here every Tuesday. I'm also over at Official Paizo's Twitch on Wednesdays doing Pathfinder shows there. I have a new show coming out, TBA announced, that has to do with the Savage Worlds Pathfinder collaboration Kickstarter that just launched today. It got fully funded in like 3 seconds. So that show is coming to you very soon. It's very exciting. You can also find me over on YouTube on the Total Nerd channel, doing video game deep dives and nostalgia plays with other gamers over there. It's really fun. My character is Juniper Song. She is a child of the apocalypse. She was born after everything kind of went to shit. She has some problems. She's trying to save these two twins that she found, and she thinks that she has a twin sister named Olive, who is actually just another personality that resides in her. That way we were playing that mechanic is that if I basically fail a couple, three composure rolls, three failures, then I switch over, and it's fun. So that's me.
Fun is a way to put exactly what happens
Yeah,
when
she's the
Olive
bad twin.
emerges.
Yeah.
She is difficult, but she does have your best interest in mind. She loves Juniper very much. And can that be evil? It's hard to say. Her actions certainly are. Markia, welcome again, my friend. Before you ask, yes, you are currently in a location hazard. However, that will not apply to tonight's game, just the situation with this introduction. Would you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, where you can be found on the internet, and who you will be playing tonight?
Yes, I'm Markia McCarty. You can, obviously find me here on Tuesdays. And this Friday, you'll be able to find me here on our Twitch channel. I'll be the, what's the term? Metal Mistress for Ragnarok. So I got to do that with Alex and also with Michelle last week, and we had a really good metal time. So, see the conclusion of that this Friday. But along with that, I mean, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Markia McCarty. It's just my name. I kept it simple, but there's a hidden E in there for you. So for other places that you could find me, this upcoming Sunday, if you go to the Walking Dead AMC Twitch channel, I'll be on Apocalypse Planning. And also the following Tuesday, right before this show, you can find me on Blurred Girl Live. We'll be talking comics, gaming, horror, everything in between, and a little bit of wrestling on the side as well. I'll put all that up on my social media. And then just if you listen to podcasts and you like horror in general, check out Something Scary. I do a weekly animated horror show at youtube.com/snarled, or check out the podcast literally called Something Scary. It's on Spotify and everywhere. So for my character, Achira Sampson, Achira has had a darker past than she has played up to this point, or at least that we've seen her enact in the present. She's stealthy. She tries to be a loner, but she keeps on finding herself pulled further and further into the group. And to the point where she actually, last episode, shielded another member with her own body. This is not how Achira rolls. Every everything that we've seen in her backstory involves her taking somebody else out of her way. So it's only a matter of time, I think, before she reverts back to old habits.
Certainly, attempting to play the hero has not been as fruitful as she might have hoped. It's been dangerous, and the entire group of survivors that have come out from the mine shafts have found themselves surrounded by strangers, many of whom they once called ally, now look at them with a certain amount of fear, concern, distrust. Speaking of which, we have the first of our two special guests tonight. Alex Hillman is with us. You may recognize Alex from the myriad of offerings that are here at Hunter's Entertainment. He is certainly one of the pillars of this community, and we are very glad that he is with us tonight. Alex, would you like to tell people just a little bit about your interactions tonight and how they might be able to interact with you elsewhere on the internet?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Alex Hillman. I'm a project manager and kind of the community guy over here at Hunters Entertainment. So, I mean, you'll see me around on all the socials and things like that. You can find me at Alex Hillman, or come over to our Discord as always, because I hang out there quite a bit and interact fairly often with folks on there. Tonight I'll be playing 10-4, as you have all seen or heard me do in the past. He's the leader of the Ender's Line, as it were. And at this point, things have been a little strained with the Rag and Bone crew that he's been working with in the local area. So we'll see how things pan out tonight.
With a community that was able to generate penicillin destroyed, needless to say, 10-4 is disappointed. We'll have to explore that once we get into game. We're quite excited to have you. Thank you, my friend, not only for being with us tonight, but for everything that you do behind the scenes. Last, but certainly not least, if you think that our previous offerings have been sufficiently dark, we decided to bring in someone who could help us bring it even further into those black abysses. I would like to welcome, for the first time now, Alexander Ward. Alex, would you like to say hello to everyone and tell people a little bit about where you can be found on the internet and the things that you're doing elsewhere?
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexander Ward. I am an actor and a streamer. I also play Jasper on LA by Night. I do lots of stuff. When the world is in its normal state, I play monsters for a living, and right now you can find me on my Twitch channel. But this Friday, I will be in the premiere of the second season of an RPG show that I do with the lovely Josephine McAdam and a bunch of other people, which will be Eclipse. Season 2 will be starting this Friday on twitch.tv/JCVIM. So that's where I'll be this Friday. That's the only thing I really have up and coming at the moment. But I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
And we're quite excited to have you. I am certain that our moderators will make sure that all of those Twitch channels get placed within our chat so that our audience can follow through to them. We highly recommend that you keep track of all of these individuals. Each of them are doing amazing things here, and we are blessed by the overabundance of talent that we've gathered for tonight's game. Enough of all of that, however. We have a very long and dark road to travel. We shouldn't waste any more time. We'll be right back. The world ended on Monday, August 29th, 1995. The sky fell, and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed, and the sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the summer flu. It became something far worse. H195, commonly called the Legacy or the Widow's Kiss. It was as deadly as it sounded. It seemed to be even more infectious to those who came in contact with those who had passed away with the virus. At first, it seemed as if no one was immune to the airborne strain, but eventually, it appeared that 0.01% of the population had a natural immunity. However, even those lucky souls couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus through a bite or a deep scratch, blood-on-blood contact. These were the kisses of death. A death that never ended. One that did not allow you to lie in a grave peacefully. There was no resting in peace for the dead, for they rose and they walked tirelessly, mindlessly, aimlessly through the ruined remains of our civilization. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought the comfort and security of a world that had none to offer. Entire cities burned, but miraculously, some still survived. And for the next 25 years, life struggled forward. It is August 27th, 1995. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's warm. The window is rolled down just enough to allow the air to circulate through, although, Matthew, your father has the AC on and has consistently told you to roll it back up. You like the fresh air. You like the feel of the wind on your face, the freedom that it comes with. You are Matthew Thompson, 13 years old. Could you describe yourself for us, please, Matthew?
He's relatively small, probably no more than 5'5" at the most. Skinny, but not in a good way. Just always been kind of a physically frail child, and along with that comes a extreme lack of confidence.
Your father is seated next to you in this car. It is a black 95 Maserati Ghibli. It's brand new. The new car smell hasn't worn off of it yet. It is leather and carpet and metal and plastic. He hangs up a car phone loudly, looking over at you. He's a very well manicured man. This full, thick head of hair that has been carefully coiffed backwards. He's wearing an open shirt right now that has been buttoned down, and he is wearing sunglasses, aviator sunglasses, as he stares out into the distance, looking back at you from time to time there in the driver or the passenger side seat. You have a pair of headphones on, a CD player, portable. He bought it for you for your birthday. You have a sketchbook and a journal on your lap, and you're scribbling to yourself with your knee up on the seat. He immediately slaps it down off the dashboard. He's a successful man by the standards of the day. He made his first million by the time he was 29. He owns summer property in Maine. He's twice divorced and newly single. You, his only son, Matthew, has yet to exhibit that winning Thompson spirit that he refers to all the time. He talks about it incessantly, about what it means to be a Thompson, how the Thompsons get it done, about how he expects more out of you and everything that you do seems to be subpar. You are quiet. You're small for your age, and you've not had many friends growing up. He picks up the CD that's next to you. He looks at it and tosses it back down into your lap. 9 Inch Nails? Who the hell is that?
It's just a band.
Further down the spiral. More like further down the toilet. What happened to those Bryan Adams CDs I got you, Matt?
I still have them. I was just trying something new.
You know, I was backstage at Three Rivers when he came through. He said he liked my jacket.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That shit you're listening to, it's just noise. Anybody can whine into a microphone and call it music.
Yeah.
You need to grow up.
Yeah.
Act a little more sophisticated, you know?
I'll try.
You haven't talked to Rachel, have you? He's referring to your stepmother. She walked out a month ago with a black eye.
No, Dad.
All right. I know she gave you her number. She's staying in my condo on the east side, and that's fine. But under no circumstances are you to talk to her without talking to me afterwards.
I know.
She's got my lawyers in a big old panic. And I'm not going to have her walking away with anything that she's not owed.
Okay.
I know you two got close, all right?
Yeah, but it's okay. I understand.
This is going to be good for us, right?
Yeah.
Take the weekend, go out here, get some fresh air, get away from Pittsburgh, do some hunting like men, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learn.
I got you your new 22.
Yeah, thank you.
You didn't take it out of the box after I bought it for you. It just kind of sat, but we're going to get it some use today.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, I wasn't going to use it at home.
Of course you're not going to use it at home. We've got our rules.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, before she walked out, Matthew, it was a mess. She, at the end, was drunk all the time and kept walking around the house with a little handgun that your father had bought her 3 Christmases back. She always had it by her side, and it made your home a living nightmare. You don't know that you ever blamed her. She could walk out. You can't. You haven't been able to. And your father, when he gets into a mood, can be a real son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry's kids are trying out for football this summer. Big opportunities there.
A lot of those kids are bigger than me.
You could be fast.
Yeah.
They need runners. I tell you, if you actually applied yourself, I bet you could at least get onto the track team.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for tryouts.
What are you planning on doing once school starts back up?
Well, I'm just working on applying myself and really making sure my grades are good. I want to be able to get into a good school eventually, and I'm trying to focus on that.
All right, yeah, schools are good. Thinking about college, that's good, boy. It's good. He really uncomfortably places his hand on your neck and tries to be fatherly and affectionate, but it just feels like he's shaking you. All right, listen, kid, just listen to your 9 Inch Nails or whatever. We'll be there in about 15 minutes, and we'll bag us a deer.
Okay.
That'll give your friends at school something to talk about.
Yeah, that sounds good, Dad.
If you get anything with more than 3 points, I'm gonna get it mounted, and we're gonna put it in the den up in Maine.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, kiddo, let's do this. The Thompson men are out. And he turns up his own radio with some horrendous pop song that's playing. You ride silently for the rest of the trip. Eventually, you reach the reserve from which you have been licensed to hunt this day, and your father parks the car, gets out, and begins rifling through the trunk. He hands you a number of bags, perhaps a few too many. One of them, a very long and heavy rifle case.
Mm-hmm.
You got all that?
Yeah, Dad, I got it.
It's top of the line, I'm telling you. I don't know how anybody hunted before this stuff came, but the scope on this thing, anything that comes out of those woods, we're going to hit it from a mile away.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a move on. I've bought us a nice lunch too, so we'll spend the day tracking some prey. See what we can find.
Okay, yeah.
The two of you walk for a while, poke through the woods. You go deeper and deeper. You're outside of Pittsburgh about an hour and a half. It's a state-funded reserve where hunting is allowed to help to cull the deer population in the summers. They tend to overpopulate the area and cause a great amount of damage ever since the natural predators were drawn away years ago. Without wolves or anything like that in this region, the mule deers especially can become problematic. So licenses are customary, and your father has all the paperwork tucked into one of the bags that you're carrying with you. And father and son, together, in fresh, newly purchased outdoor gear, poke their way through the woods on a Saturday afternoon. Not much happens. Your father talks at you. You wish that you were somewhere else. You think about Rachel and everything that your father put her through. Michael William Thompson is an investment banker, a Pittsburgh real estate mogul, and a total asshole. Your father, you've realized, isn't going to be better, and that those rare moments of love that you see in his eyes are only his hope of a reflection of himself in you that he's never going to find. The two of you have traipsed through the woods now for a while. You've become covered in nettles. You took a couple of spills and quickly picked yourself back up. Your father's face started to turn red, but luckily you diffused the situation by pushing forward. Always pushing forward, not letting him see you weak. And then you hear a noise off in the distance, a snapping of a twig. Your father holds up his hand and whispers, "Get your gun, boy. Hold it up." In the distance, you see a figure moving in the brush. What do you do?
I point the gun at it, and I squeeze the trigger.
It startles you. It throws you back. As much as your father has taught you, as many times as you've been told, do not jerk the trigger. Don't jerk the trigger, Matt. You squeeze it. You don't jerk it. You're never going to get a good shot like that. As many times as that's been said, you always anticipate that sharp crack. You think your shot goes wide. But as it turns out, you've struck. But it's not a deer that stumbles forward out of those bushes. It's a person. Blood flowing down from their chest. They stumble forward, dropping to the ground. What do you do?
Dad, I just start. I run over to them.
Wait! Do you stop or do you run to the person on the ground?
I stop.
Don't move. What the fuck? Your father traipses past you, shoving you to the ground, moving past you and towards the body, gun still in his hand. He looks down. What the fuck is this? You see now more clearly it's a homeless person. Ragged clothing, a dirty cap pulled close to their head, dressed in all brown. And in the bushes, it would be hard to not assume it was an animal. But now you see a small collection of empty containers, cartons, cans, and boxes that were shoved into that bush. Oh, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. The fuck is the last thing we need? Matthew, you stay there.
I'm sorry.
Shut the fuck up, boy. Your father paces, stops, takes a deep breath, turns, and fires twice into the body on the ground. There's a gurgle, and the man stops moving. You and I are never going to speak of this again. You got that? I'm protecting you right now. You got a future, kid. I'm not having my boy in jail.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it was a. I didn't know it was a.
Were you looking through the scope?
I was.
Did you close your eyes like a little pussy when you pulled the trigger?
No, I swear I didn't. It didn't look like a. Didn't look like anybody.
All right. It's all right, boy. It's all right. It's all right. I got you. You know, it's all right. Don't worry about it. It was nothing. This is garbage. That's all it is. Human waste. Probably a drug addict. We probably did the world a favor, you know? Are you crying right now?
No, I'm not. No, I'm okay.
Track, you know? I think you could be fast. Your father starts walking towards you, and then something happens. Something you couldn't have imagined in your worst nightmares. The corpse on the ground, the homeless man, stands up.
Dad.
Your father doesn't see it. It's moving closer. Your father is prattling on about Track, walking towards you. I thought I told... He stops, but it's too late. This thing, this ragged, dead person, drags your father screaming down to the ground, biting into him. Warm gouts of blood, like a waterfall, swell against your father's chest as he meets your eyes. And for the first time, Matthew, you see fear there. You see fear in the eyes of the man who, for your entire life, you have feared.
I grab my things and I run.
You quickly grab the bag and the gun, and you start to run end over end, toppling across branches and leaves and trees, pushing your way out of this forest, and you realize that you have no idea where you are. Your father had the keys. You don't know how to drive anyway. And that, Matthew, is how the Gravedigger began. Ten 4.
10-4. You all copy? 10-4. 10-4, we're up here on that road.
Yeah, we copy.
Hey, yo there. It's been a real tough day, I gotta say. We followed your directions. We're all the way over towards, I believe it's Station 214. Everything looks solid here, boss. It's all in one piece.
Well, that's at least some good news at this point. All right. Well, we'll need you back here as quick as possible, so make sure everything's patched up and ready, and bring it on back in.
Copy that. We're taking what we can. Pickings are getting real slim. I gotta say, ever since that Gray Ridge situation went AWOL, and we all ended up out here with our fucking asses in our hand, because you got a heart the size of the entire state, I don't even know what to do anymore, 10-4, but we're putting our asses on the line. I just want to remind y'all.
Look, I know, and we're gonna make it good on you. Just get what you can, get back. Let's make sure everything keeps running. I don't have time for all the semantics and bullshit right now, all right?
I ain't never gave you no semantics, but fine then. I'll stop with the talking and get back to work. Take care, boss. Over and out.
Fuck.
You slam down your CB radio, and you are currently still in the remains of the Gray Ridge Community Farm. The walls have been under repair now for over a week, and your recently excavated survivors, the other members of your rag and bone crew that caused this entire situation to go AWOL, have been resting and recuperating. The one known as Lampwick is in particularly bad condition, and even though he continues to try and stand up and walk around, he has been put onto very severe bed rest by some of those who know better within your organization. The others, however, have managed to come out of this relatively unscathed. Things are tense. The caravan, some members of the cavalry, and the Enders are all here. Particularly, they have formed a barricade using the vehicles that they have available to them. Although the biodiesel is desperately low, everyone has enough to make their return trips and maybe a couple of extra days of camping out here. However, each and every hour in which this is wasted, is going to be another hour lost and another opportunity for that horde of Romeros to find their way back here. And if what both Achira and Juniper said is true, there may be other things to be concerned about. And you've made a very, very clandestine situation. You're going to send them out to find one of your contacts. A man who lives and has lived on his own for quite some time. A solitary member of your network that has a very uncanny understanding of the dead, knows their migration patterns, knows how they walk, where they roam to in different seasons, how to draw them away, redirect them, almost control them. That doesn't come without a cost. This man, who your organization knows as the Gravedigger, or Digger to anyone who actually uses a name for him, this man is dangerous, wild. However, you've gotten it into your head that just maybe someone like Juniper might be able to get through to him. Someone who thought a little bit more like he does, who was able to communicate with him on a level that might be beneficial to you and the others. He's located in Station 7, known as Lucky 7 because it's the only station in a single digit that remains standing. But that doesn't mean it's a good place to be. It's the last of the early safe houses and very close to the remains of what was once known as Pittsburgh. Now it's just called the Iron Grave. Your contact is known as the Gravedigger because, unlike every other living soul within a 50-mile radius of that place, he walks those streets. He picks the ruins. He knows how to find things there. If anyone was going to know anything about abnormal walkers, abnormal Romeros, he's going to be the person to do it. And as far as a tracker goes, you've met very few that are as good as he is. So you've made a choice, haven't you, 10-4?
Don't got much time.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take a look around the camp here and figure out where it is that Juniper and Achira are at the moment. I know Lampwick's currently bedridden, so.
He's in one of the RVs. He's made a lot of friends very quickly. And
Sounds about right.
It's disconcerting how quickly he's endeared himself to a number of people within your organization. Some of them are going so far as to deliver things to him. And he spent most of his time holed up in that RV. But as far as Juniper and Achira go, I would say it's up to them. Juniper, Achira, you are expected to stay within the confines of this circle that has been formed, this wagon train, as it were. However, you're free to do whatever else you want. Where are you?
Over the week, Juniper has spent some time making like a spot for her and the twins to kind of like live. And it's, since you can't really go in the wagons, there's too much equipment and stuff in them. I've just sort of found a little hill next to one of the wagons and sort of dug like a ditch. And this is our ditch that we really like because it's nice and cool in this ditch. And that's where we hang out in our ditch home for the time being. So we're always over there. We've brought back the we have like the checkers from the base that we brought back up with us, and we just kind of mess with those things and bide our time.
The twins, Kit and Crash, are finally back to normal. You've had a very quiet week. You know what I mean, Juniper. It's been good. And the twins have warmed back up to you. They're playful and they smile, and you haven't seen that in weeks. For 3 entire weeks, you and your companions, the other survivors, were trapped beneath the ground in a concrete tomb with a pair of dead, rotting bodies. Trapped by former companions who had used dynamite to blow the entrance in on itself so that you could not leave. And for the longest time, all of you thought that you might die. However, you have been saved by 10-4 and the rest of the Ender's line. So you have your ditch that you've dug out for you and these 2 red-headed young twins. They're cleaner now. You actually see their faces. You find out that, to your best guess, they're probably 7 years old. They don't know, to be certain, and they ask a lot of questions. Of everyone else from the Gray Ridge community, only Sanderson, Kit and Crash, a woman named Polly, and a woman named Geraldine have survived. 5. Sanderson, you've noticed, Juniper, looks at you with intense hatred and anger from a distance, never engaging. And there have been multiple times in meal lines and other things where you've seen him starting to come towards you forcibly and others have held him back. He's the large, ex-military, former naval captain in his late 50s who was the lover of Dr. Espinosa and one of the co-leaders of the Grey Ridge community.
Aw.
Achira, what are you doing and where are you?
Achira has spent this week trying to be on the outskirts of everybody else, figuring out the black market situation because every community has one, delivering stuff to people who need it, finding who else had things that they needed, because this is what she does. She's a trader, infiltrator, and then also a scout.
Well, that's very good because you are currently located in the midst of a camp of 3 of the most well-renowned rag and bone teams in this region. And these are the traders of the traders. You're in the middle of it. And due to your situation, despite all of the problems, much of the material that was salvaged from the personal packs of individuals within the mine shaft has been claimed by your group. That includes all of Blockbuster's VHS tapes. Lampwick had told you very clearly that there was something strange about them, and over the course of the week, he's left you with them. He pointed out to you the spine on the interior of one of those clamshells. On the outside of it, you see the bright, faded now, colored ticket that says Blockbuster across it, and it says on a stamp, "Be kind, rewind." On the inside, scratched into it, have been a number of small marks. The one that you have looked at the most says, "Left 1 dash I have the secret."
I think along with her trading situation, it's not just items that she would deal with, it's also knowledge. She likes knowing what's going on. I think to the best of her ability, she would try to decipher that, and along with see if there was anybody in the camp that had a VCR that could be played. Keeping in mind, she still has her Pretty in Pink VHS that she wants to watch.
There was a VHS player in one of the RVs. It is available. However, it is currently under the control of a man known as Big Red, one of the cavalry, a close associate with Rowan. He hasn't allowed you or anyone else to use it. Now, 10-4, who you've pestered about this endlessly, has said that as soon as you are able to do so, you'll be able to interface with some VCR players in a number of the safe houses that you'll be traveling to, because as part of your compensation to the group, you're going to be placing fresh VHS tapes out there in the wild so that others like yourself can get the much needed news and information that they so desperately seek. So as you're standing there kind of rifling through your things off on the outskirts, you see a figure. Describe yourself, 10-4.
10-4 is probably around 6 foot, maybe a little bit under. He, at the moment, is looking pretty haggard and worse for wears. Very dark bags under his eyes. He's got scruff all over his face. His hair is disheveled. His clothes are looking ratty at this point. Despite being in the camp, he really hasn't taken time to care for himself since this whole situation began. He's always looking like he's ready to go at a moment's notice. He, despite the potential temperature, is always wearing a cap and a heavier coat. And he always has a duffel bag with him.
You see Juniper off closer to the edge of the cliff, inside of the circled security of this wagon train. There's a small hole that she's dug out, and she's quietly playing a game of checkers with the two twins who are laughing and giggling. And then you look over almost on the opposite end of the camp and you see Achira sorting through a number of the goods and loot that she has been manicuring ever since coming out of that hell pit.
I think I'd probably go ahead and start making my way over to Achira here.
Okay, so you walk over to Achira. Achira 10-4 approaches.
Achira makes sure to stand upwind and also hides her goods very casually, like they don't mean anything while she puts them away. And
That
shoulders her
sounds like
back.
a stealth roll to me. So go ahead and make a stealth roll for me, if you don't mind. And you have no dice of difficulty, and you're not using your... Well, you do have your gear out, so I will give you your gear bonus for that, since you are actively kind of dealing with all of those items right now.
Okay.
Let's see here. Achira, you got 1 degree of success. 10-4, if you would like, you can make a spot listen check. And if you can beat that, then we'll know how this is going to play itself out.
I can absolutely do that. No, definitely didn't notice anything out of the ordinary there.
Welcome
I'm gonna
to
go
our
ahead and take
game,
that.
Alex.
We'll go ahead and take that. That seems like a good roll to take that on.
All right, I know that you do have the ability to spend some competency to adjust that, but for now, you're going to take that failure, and it's really bad. Achira just does whatever she wants in front of you with all of these items, hides them, and you have no real idea of what she's specifically doing when you walk up, just that she's been gathering her things. So please, by all means, continue your conversation.
Can I interest you in a drink there, Achira?
Well, I was just thinking that was something that I wouldn't mind having a little knockback or two.
Woman of my own heart. Goes ahead and reaches into the duffel bag and pulls out a bottle that's, at this point, the contents of it are obviously not what it says anymore. There's a clear liquid in it, which he hands over to you.
Oh, you first.
Oh, absolutely. And he goes ahead and takes a pull. Delicious.
Achira holds it and does a drink, but she doesn't swallow. But, you know, like in the movies.
She makes it look good.
Very strong alcohol.
Yeah, it's like,
Certainly feel it on both the lips and the tongue right away.
make this yourself.
It's not me that makes it, but one of the folks in camp has a pretty good recipe.
They've got a talent.
So, been meaning to talk to you, Achira. When we got you out, we had a brief chat, and as I mentioned, I would go ahead and figure out what exactly it was we were going to do moving forward here and get back with you. Now, we've discussed having you place some blank tapes at some of the outposts for us, and that is a very good way to get the ball rolling in the right direction here. Start making up some ground for the situations that have transpired as of late.
Right. It
And-
sounds like riveting work. I just can't wait.
Well, I see a chance here to kill a couple birds with a single stone, to be perfectly honest. Now, your talents, from what I've been able to gather so far in your time here, they extend well beyond just hoofing it through the wilderness and dragging some goods around.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I
that's
think
damn sure.
it's safe to say the rest of your crew, that's about about true for all of them. I got some things that I need taken care of.
I'm listening.
So when we were chatting last time, your friend Juniper mentioned that y'all encountered a particular individual who's of interest to me. Goes by the name of Blockbuster.
I remember the video store. Interesting that he took the name. But yes, go ahead.
It's pretty fitting for the guy. Now, I've heard the rumblings at this point that unfortunately Blockbuster is no longer with us. And you see, that's unfortunate because, well, this guy had a handy little collection.
I'm assuming of VHSs or the such with a name like that.
Primarily. Other things here and there, but primarily VHSs, including some very interesting sensitive ones that we've come across here and there on the Ender's Line. I'm curious to know more, and it just feels wrong letting that kind of collection go to waste, if you know what I mean. Now, like I said, I'm impressed by your skills. Despite everything that's happened, that's why all y'all are still here in the camp. That's why Lampwick is laid up in the RV right now, and we're taking care of him.
Well,
But I don't want to leave things to chance here. I've got a contact that I need you and Juniper to go ahead and get in touch with for me. This will push you a little ways out. You'll be able to stop by a outpost or two along the way, so we can take care of some of those blank tapes, of course.
of course, they're so important, those blank tapes.
And don't discount them so quickly. It's a useful means of communication for those who have the know-how to keep such things up and running. And a very good way to keep things quiet for those that don't. So this individual that I need you to meet up with, we can think of him as your new Abigail. You see, Abigail was very, very close to me. There's a reason why she was with a group of generally newbies to the whole Ender's Line. This person will be your new Abigail, the new person that can ride along with you for a while, keep an eye on things. Now,
Someone to show the rest of us the ropes, someone that you trust more than the rest of us.
at least so far. You can
No,
always
I-
change that.
No, I get it. I'm not taking that personally. I'm just
So-
stating facts.
I need you to find Digger. You're gonna be heading into some rough territory to pull this one off. That's why I don't really want to send anyone else. There's not a lot of folks along the line who I trust to send down to Lucky 7 anymore. It's gonna
What's
bring you. Go
What's
ahead.
What's this person like? Digger.
Well, he's a charming character, we'll say. Not as much of a talker as Abigail was. More of a lone wolf too. But Digger and I go way back.
Is this someone that's going to be expecting company, or is this something that Juniper and I are going to have to come about in a particular way?
Well, obviously, this is an important situation to me.
Hmm.
Now, do you think Juniper is going to be willing to leave the twins behind? Because this isn't somewhere that I think that we should be sending the young ones.
Well, the twins obviously have a liking on Juniper, but everybody has a liking on Lampwick too. I'm sure that if Juniper knew that the twins would be around Lampwick, it wouldn't be that hard of a thing. But I'm not going to. I'm I'm not the person to state Juniper's state of mind, but I
During
can
your
ask.
conversation, Aria Cantos appears. In the weeks that have passed, she's become fairly quiet. She's on the mend. She hasn't been using. She's a little jittery, but she seems more attentive than she was before. And she walks up to the two of you.
Achira and her would have gotten close. Well, as close as Achira would get with anybody.
Is everything okay?
Well, it looks like Juniper and I are going to be taking a little field trip, if one will. We've got some tapes to deliver to a couple of outposts. Nothing too dangerous or anything like that, but
Right.
also we were talking about the twins.
Hmm.
Like they might enjoy staying with Lampwick, but they also kind of know you too, darling.
Yeah, I mean, if you trust me with like those kids, yeah, of course, I'll totally do whatever you need. I'd really like to help. I feel like I owe it to you for what happened down there, but I didn't come over here for that. I was wondering if when this is all said and done, they're talking about pulling up stakes, you know, and I don't know where I'm gonna go, because you know, like my people totally are gone, and I just need to make some plans because I need help, and I'm not afraid to totally ask for it now, given what we've all been through, and I've already put you in a lot of. I know Juniper and Lampwick and everyone is pretty understandably pissed off at everything that I did, you know. But I'm trying to change, and I know 10-4 has offered me some space as well. I just did. If you were gonna leave, because you're packing, and if you're gonna leave, I just wanted to talk to you before you did that. You know.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't just gonna. I wasn't just gonna go without letting you know.
Yeah, totally, for sure. I didn't think you were going to, but you know, I don't know. I'll go check in on the kids. And she kind of like nervously backs away.
How's she holding up?
She's better, but like anything, everything's a process. And who knows who's okay? We don't even know if we're okay.
In this world, ain't nobody okay. We all got our own demons, and it's impressive seeing her confront hers.
There's a power in that, most definitely. A lot of us aren't able to confront our past like we should.
Tell you what, Achira. Like I said, this job's important, and so I'm not going to send you out here empty-handed. Digger might not know you're coming just yet, but we'll make sure that you have a way to telegraph your arrival. I'm going to go ahead and get a few things together here for you and Juniper. Why don't you go round her up, let her know what the plan is, and see if she's going to be willing to tag along, or if I'm going to be sending you out lone wolf.
I'll go have a chat with Juniper, and we'll see what we'll see. It won't be the first time I've gone out alone, and it won't be the first time that I've gone out with someone to watch my back. So, either way,
Meet me over by the fire once you're ready.
sure thing. And Achira heads over to Juniper and Kit and Crash.
As you walk over there, you see that Arya's already there, and she's kind of leaned down to the kids who are like grasping onto Juniper pretty close. Hey, kids, like, do you want to maybe hang out a little bit and get to know each other a little better?
No one wants to hang out with you, weirdo. Leave us alone.
June, can I chat with you for a second?
Yeah, we're already talking. Just what? You're right
But
here.
I mean, just you remember that talk that we had when I was like, when I say I want to talk to you, it means I don't want other people to listen. That's what I'm doing right now.
I'll leave. It's cool.
No, Arya, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're good. Just Juniper, can me and you step over here and talk for a second?
Oh, fine. All right, what is it?
10-4 wants us to go and get another compatriot of his, Digger. Someone that he knew as well as Abigail. Someone that also had connections with Blockbuster and all his stuff. So we'd want the two of us to go out, get him, and come back. Obviously, a little bit dangerous, but maybe you're a little bit tired of camp life right now.
I mean, I definitely want to get going. This is the longest we've stayed anywhere in a long time. Well, except for that bunker. That was real bad. Yeah, I mean, I guess I assume Lampwick can't go because he's kind of messed up. But if we're coming right back, how far could this place be, right?
It's just a there and back. Well, yeah, any kind of trip takes a second, but
I mean, yeah, I'm happy to get out of here. It's I don't want to see all these random people. All this, there's too many people here, and I don't like it. And we've seen too much weird shit go down here. But I mean, we're taking the kids, right?
we couldn't. It would just be a bit too dangerous for them. That's why, like, either Arya or Lampwick would be really good.
Okay, well, it can't be Arya because she can't tell her left from her right, and even I know that.
Well, I think that's a bit harsh.
Lampwick's basically dead still, or I don't know. He's either dead or having a party. There's no in between with him. I don't know what's going on in his trailer. He doesn't have time to watch. He's not gonna watch. No one to watch the kids except for me.
Well, would you trust 10-4 to watch him?
10-4 is so weird.
Everybody's weird, darling.
Well, I guess if we want to keep them safe, they shouldn't come with us. The last time we went on a quick mission, a bunch of crap happened. All right, I think they can stay with Lampwick. As long as there's not like 20 people going in and out of his trailer all day, I don't trust these people.
Well, people aren't very trustworthy except for the ones that are.
That doesn't make any sense, and I don't like when you say things that are like a little couplet because I think you're trying to mean something, and I don't. Yeah. All right, let's just go quick, and then let's go and get this over with, and oh gosh, it'll be good to walk again, but I just want to be done with it quickly.
Achira, as you two are speaking, you see the strong, imposing figure of Sanderson standing off in the distance, kind of glowering at the two of you. There is the woman that you've come to know as Polly standing by him, kind of quietly arguing. You can't hear what they're saying, but she's pushing him back. And as she does, and she like pushes him back to not come closer into your conversation, she turns and walks over to both of you. It's Achira, right?
It is indeed.
Yeah, and you're Juniper. We all know exactly who you are. Look, I heard through the grapevine here, real small communities, that you two might be leaving. And we know Kit and Crash. We would like to take care of the kids. We're not entirely sure that we're going to let you leave with the kids if that is your intention. So before anything happens here, I just want to say very clearly that the kids are not leaving, and that we both
Okay, Polly,
yeah,
darling,
Tell me.
I'm gonna stop you right there. We are heading out on a quick little mission, and actually, Juniper here has already decided that we are not going to take the kids with us.
That's good.
So you do not need to step at us like this right now.
All right. See, I'm the reasonable one. I just want to make that real clear.
Okay,
that
and
this
I
is the reasonable
understand,
conversation.
darling.
That Sanderson doesn't want to have that conversation at all.
Right. I understand. And you know what? Bless your heart for coming over here and chatting with us and letting us know where you stand.
That's where we stand. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Great.
we understand it. So
And I think it seems like we understand each other really well.
we do, don't we, Polly?
I
All right.
know. Okay. Well, I'm glad we could make friends here.
Indeed.
I'm telling you, if you need someone to watch those kids, they're well taken care of, just so you know. But we'll be here. Bye. And she turns and starts walking away.
I am not 100% sure what just happened.
That bitch just tried to tell us what to do with our kids. That's what just happened.
Look, I don't even trust them to protect them. They didn't do great the first time. They were gonna leave them in that house to get eaten by that old lady. So
it's fine. We've got Lampwick, we've got Arya, we've got 10-4. These kids are well taken care of.
I'll tell them what areas they should stick around to. So they don't go anywhere with those.
We should head out sooner rather than later before there is even more people that figure out that we're leaving, and then there's more to deal with.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to that big guy. He's been giving me creepy eyes like this whole week, and I'm just doing that thing where I look at the floor and kind of walk away like I don't know he's looking at me, but I know he's looking at me. Okay, yeah, let's what is it, talk to 10-4 and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, let's head on out.
I would take a minute and go, just like table talk. Go talk to the kids, make sure they know to stay kind of with Lampwick, not really to go anywhere. I check in with Lampwick and tell him to stop trying to like become the mayor of this fake town for the day, and take care of the kids.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's taken care of. Everything's gonna be all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
Right.
Just, you be safe, okay?
Right.
Hey,
you're
look.
not gonna like sell them or something before we come back.
I would actually kill you, Lampwick.
Achira, who are you talking to here? It's me.
I don't know. You've kind of become like the man, child, boy king of this entire community right now. I don't know.
I know how to treat people. I want to make sure that we're all well situated within this community. Trust me, it hasn't been easy. A lot of them are pretty upset about what happened.
Okay, bye. I just shut
Bye. The door. And you slam the door. The kids don't want you to go, and they fuss a little bit about it. Crash grabs onto you and hugs you very tightly, Juniper, and then whispers something to you. Is Olive going with you too?
Yeah, she goes wherever I go.
Okay. You watch her?
Yeah, she watches me too.
Well, I mean, you'll make sure she doesn't hurt anyone else, right?
Some people need to get hurt. But don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
All right. And then you go, and the two of you find 10-4 standing around a small group. 10-4, you've got some of your people here, a couple of the Enders that have been coming through the Gray Ridge community to try to help with some of the salvage transpo. There's stuff that's being brought in to try to repair the building, but the high sensitivity, high value items, any of that medical that could be saved, which was a pitiful amount, there's enough penicillin for one community. And you have to decide how to deal with that. It is as if you're sitting on a powder keg and smoking a cigarette at the same time, because all of these communities are getting sick with this regular flu that is ravaging through their communities. And now you have medication for one community when you could have taken care of everyone. Dispersed the amount that you have now to get people through the next month or so, and then had it so Espinosa was equipped to be able to handle the rest. Now you're managing an unwinnable situation with very, very, very meager resources. So you've got a lot of hot-headed, warm-blooded individuals who are not happy about the current situation, and frankly, wouldn't mind seeing some of your rag and bones strung up for what happened. Those conversations have been very hushed, but Sanderson especially, understandably, is like very, very heated. However, you've managed to talk enough sense into him to keep him from even interacting with the others. However, you don't know how long that's going to last. You don't know how much goodwill you have here. So you're talking to a couple. Moonshine Larry is standing next to you, and Moonshine Larry is a woman with graying red hair that has been braided back, and she's got some scars, and she has she's missing her left hand, and that has been replaced with a very spiked club that has been inset onto the stump. So Moonshine is the person who makes your moonshine, but is also known as Moonshine Larry because of absolutely how caustic and harsh she can be. So she's certainly not your face person, but also the person who has definitely set you up with some equipment here to give out to the others, and has a map of the area that the others are going to need if they're going to leave.
This is perfect. And look, I know this is a huge ask. I know it.
You've been making a lot of asks recently, you know? A lot of asks. And we've been hanging in the wind, 10-4. You have done near wasted all your goodwill with the rest of the Enders line. I'm just letting you know right now that we're not going to keep putting up with this. You gotta start paying it forward, and we need to know where that's going. We've got people out there that are counting on us. Where are they going? Where are the pills going, 10-4?
Look, I see a Chira and Juniper walking over. Give me 1 second. We'll talk about it. I need to deal with this.
All right. If you're talking to those Enders, I think that maybe you're going to want to hear what I have to say about Station 7.
Yeah.
All right.
If you've got something to report.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. So Juniper, Achira, you come up and you see 10-4 in the middle of what 10-4 is always doing, managing people in the middle of it all, usually in a heated argument with someone. And so you see him standing there alongside this woman that I've just described.
I walk up to the woman. Can I touch your club hand?
If you touch it, I'm going to hit you with it.
Fine.
I've seen you kick it around this camp. I'm Moonshine Larry.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I think I just had some of yours. You've got a talent.
It's good shit, right?
Right?
Yeah. My papa raised no fool. I learned that recipe the hard way. Took a lot of time, a lot of effort, but it's paid off well out here in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. Really lost out here without it.
I know my brother would have loved it if he'd been able to make it this far.
Yeah. 10-4, this is your rodeo.
What do we know about Lucky 7?
Well, I just was telling 10-4 that if you're headed to Lucky 7, it's there's been a lot of activity. We don't know what's happening over there in the pit, but you're going to have to travel the red stripe all the way to the north edge of it, so you should know that the ruins of what the pit has become, it's not a pretty place. And I don't know if you've been in the Iron Grave before, but you better be prepared. Better take all the caution you've got with you and be quiet. It's not one of those places you want to be loud, because you might be able to take down some of them, but you're not going to be able to take down all of them. And I'll tell you this much too, that thing that happened over here at Grey Ridge looks like a picnic compared to how many I hear are currently moving around that area.
Do you know if any of the bigger ones or the stalkers that we've seen before have been sighted there?
There's a strong consensus among many of our people that you and your friends are full of shit. And so we don't really know what you're talking about, but if there's a type of walker and a type of Romero that does something different, yeah, I mean, sheer numbers, they probably are there.
Why do we gotta go see this dig person again? Is it this really that important? Can't you just like send a message somehow or no?
He
I
ain't
mean,
got a
we've got
CB,
radio,
right?
but we ain't got radio that goes that far.
Nah. Here, they can take my portable there, but that's all that we're putting into this. And those 2 batteries, that's the best that they're gonna do. 10-4.
Be sparing with it. That's all I can say. The radio's solid. The equipment's solid. The batteries, look, we got to make our own, obviously. And at this point, with everything that's been going on, this is the best that we can spare. It'll be a little unstable. It might be a little shaky. Don't burn through your power all right away.
No problem. We'll wait until we're a bit closer, and then we'll try to reach this digger.
The case that you have
Is there a full name there, or do they just go by Digger?
You can just call him Digger. We don't need to get into any more specifics than that.
The case that you're given is a large, heavy, refurbished suitcase. It's not inconsiderable, and it has these large homemade batteries inside. And the CB radio that's attached to the interior is bolted into it, and it has all of these connective wires that are kind of splayed out across it. It's a real hatchet job. It looks somewhat fragile, and you know that no matter what, it's going to slow you down.
Are you kidding me? What is this?
It's a radio.
Are there any radios between here and there? I mean, this is going to slow us down. I mean, the Juniper and I are going to have to be fast and quiet as hell, apparently, and try to maybe even forge our own path through. And we can't do this with, what is
Fast might not be an option for you guys at this point. I would say slow and concerted.
And if we lose it, we lose it.
I think you forget what
This is going to be your only lifeline, Achira. Look, we can't keep holding up here.
All right.
We're going to be moving on probably before y'all get back. That
That's
radio's
fine.
got good range on it, and once you get a little ways out there, you'll be able to actually make contact with Digger. And
All
then
right, then.
from there, you guys can work on taking care of what we need taken care of.
Multiple tasks, great.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
let us know whatever it is that we need to know so that Digger knows that we're not just from anywhere else and that it's coming from you, and we'll just get this show on a road then. Unless, June, you got something else to say?
Nope, I just want to get going here and, let's just go.
At that, I'm going to motion to Achira to kind of head off over to the side a little bit. And again, I'll turn to Moonshine and listen, like I said, we'll finish up this discussion here in a minute. Let me finish up with this, and I will be right back.
You ain't off the hook,
Oh, don't I know it.
You step away.
Immediately turn and head over to Achira. And I'll reach into the duffel bag as I get up to her and pull out a small backpack that clearly has some weight in it. And I hand it over to her. It's not much. Like I said, other than that radio, we can't really spare a lot of supplies right now. But there is a little bit of food in there and a bit of water. And a little bottle of something in case the nights get cold.
Fair enough.
But that's all I can muster right now. Now,
Yeah.
beyond that, and he slides over a sheet of paper. Occasionally send out transmissions with what I have written down there. That'll get Digger's attention, and he'll know that you're broadcasting on my behalf. Then he can guide you in to wherever it is he's holed up right now. He's one of our long-range scouts. Tends to work solo. Like I said, he's not a peachy character, but he's about the best at
Who
what
is
he
at
does.
this point in everything? I
No?
have a feeling that him and Juniper probably get along, actually.
So do I. Now look, like I said, that battery is unstable. We've juiced it up as best we can for you, but I can't make a promise how many transmissions you're going to get. Certainly don't check it more than twice a day tops, and that's going to be pushing it.
Just point us in a direction. We'll handle the rest.
And at that, he's going to go ahead and get them set up with the map and kind of show them the course that they'll be taking out to Lucky 7 from the current position of the Ender's camp.
On foot, the estimates are that it's going to take your small group 3 days on foot. What I would like to know, Achira and Juniper, is how are you going to travel? Are you traveling at night? Are you traveling during the day? Are you taking the railroads, or are you going to travel off the path through the forests and the shattered remains of the suburbs?
Railroads, Achiro, maybe? I don't know.
Achira's first thought was off the beaten
Cool,
path, but railroads is a nice compromise of the both, for like on the road and then completely off the road. So we'll do the railroads.
You're going to travel the Ender's Line. Now, this segment of the Ender's Line is known as the Red Stripe. It's called the Red Stripe, you both know, because of the amount of blood that it's been washed in. It heads all the way directly into what was once known as Pittsburgh. You're traveling, thankfully, not all the way into that ruined, desolate landscape. However, you will be coming very close. The pit, or the Iron Grave, as it's now known, is no place for the living. There are endless tales that are told over campfires of the horrors that can be found there and the number of dead that roam the streets endlessly there. You're going to be traveling dangerously close to the Allegheny River, and once you're there, you'll know that you're fairly close to Station 7. Lucky 7 has been marked out for you on a small map. You have your radio and the rest of the equipment and supplies that you have been given. Before you leave, if you choose, given the amount of individuals here that are merchants, I will allow you to trade some survival points for some specific equipment. Is there anything that you would like that you do not have?
Is it possible to get more survival points since we survived the bunker?
Yes, you
And
should have
all of the
already. You should have
cave.
each already received 250 survival points.
Oh, okay. So
You are in a well-functioning group, and you have come out with a good amount of loot that has been claimed by your party. The survivors are well stocked, if not in a precarious situation.
Okay. Something that I would like for Achira is not a pistol, but something like a hand crossbow, something that is silent and would be utilized somewhat in the same way that a pistol would be.
If you give me 100 of your survival points, I will give you a functioning hand crossbow.
Okay.
Juniper, are you looking for anything specifically?
do I still have any of the stuff from before? Like I had my bow and arrow and arrows.
You have gathered
crowbar.
most of your things back together, yes,
Okay,
because
so
it's
I don't
been
have to rebuy that.
excavated from that. There's not much that you've lost, although you do need arrows. And if you give me
Okay.
10 survival points, I will allow you to replenish your arrow quiver.
Yes, I do that. I would also like to What happened to that gun? Was it confiscated? I can't remember what happened to it.
The guns have been spread out amongst the survivors. You have a gun if you want a gun.
Yes.
And if you want anything other than just a basic handgun, you'll have to pay for it.
Just the handgun is fine. So that's 6 bullets, right? Or
Yes. This
Okay.
is a simple wheel gun, a 32.
Oh, this is a different gun. The first gun, I believe,
You don't
Rowan
have that
took it.
any longer. Yes, Rowan took that
Rowan
gun.
took it because counting the bullets, there's only 2 left.
Right. The Enders are not going to leave people completely unarmed, and there are a small amount of weapons that can be trusted here. However, is there anything else you want other than the handgun?
If I purchase a grappling hook attached to a rope, would that make any climbs up trees faster? Like, how would that aid me? Or would it be the same as climbing a tree?
If you want climbing gear, I can give you climbing gear for 25 survival points, and it will include spiked boot apparatuses and climbing claws that you can wear on gloves.
Damn. Okay. Boots and claws. I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So
They're
that's-
handmade, but they're refashioned from lumberjack gear that has been used in the area for centuries.
Okay. And that's, you said 10, 15?
25.
20. Okay. I think that's all for me. I'm good.
Okay.
And how much for a first aid kit?
25.
Oh, my crossbow, it comes with crossbow arrows, yeah.
I'm not going to cheat you out of some bolts. However, if you want extra supply of them, you'll need to spend an additional 10 survival points. If you want to be fully stocked, it will cost an additional 10. If you want to have just a standard array of them, you'll be rolling depletion dice, so that may become a little more challenging.
Okay. I'll take a first aid kit. Should I put that under my training value bonus where I put
Yes.
a 1 into?
Yes, it
Okay,
will
so I'll
double
take
your
a-
training value.
I'll take a first aid kit, and I'll take enough crossbow bolts to not have to roll depletion, so that'd be 35.
Okay, 35 total.
Okay.
And the rest you can save up for Gestalt or whatever you choose to do.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, the 2 lone rag and bone merchants gather their things, and for the first time in a week, break outside of the circle of protection that has been formed around them by the cavalry, the caravan, and the Enders line. The fire flickers in the distance as you slip off into the night, traveling down a long and dirty road towards the remains of Pittsburgh, now known as the Iron Grave. We're going to take a short break. We'll be out for 5 minutes, but when we return, we will continue our story. Thank you again for being with us. Please, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hunters Entertainment on twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf, and I am your game master for Outbreak Rag and Bone. 2 of the Enders line, Rag and Bone merchants, have found their way into the forests outside of the city once known as Pittsburgh. Now it's known as the Iron Grave. Achira, Juniper, you have been moving forward now for some time. The encampment that 10-4 and the others had provided for you is a distant memory. The nights are cold. The wind is hollow. There is a darkness that surrounds you. Have you been traveling during the day or at night?
At night.
You carefully, quietly move through this darkened forest, stepping across the old, rusted metal and rotten wood of what was once a powerful rail line used to deliver all manner of goods and services and people throughout the country. Now, it is the skeletal remains of a society that is long since gone. You walk this line, the 2 of you. Is there much conversation? Do you talk to one another, or do you just resolutely push forward.
I think I would be asking Achira about the paper because I can't read. uh, you know, just not that I need you to do this, but I guess I kind of do. Can you read the paper off to me so in case like we lose it, we know what's on it?
We're not gonna lose it. I got it memorized. It's fine, but we probably shouldn't talk a whole lot if we don't need to. And unless there's something personal that you'd like to talk to me about, then I'm all ears.
Nope, never.
Well, I'm here when you want to talk about something.
No, I was just curious about the paper. What would it say that Digger would know that it's from 10-4?
I'm a little curious about you. I mean, we haven't really had that chance to. I mean, we talk, but we don't talk. So I mean, if you want to talk right now, we can. Otherwise, we should just be silent.
Nah, let's be quiet and not die. I think that's a good plan. It's a good plan.
I would like for Juniper to make a navigation check, and I would like Achira to make a stealth check, please. You each have no dice of difficulty added to this. However, I do want you each to roll a single blue die.
And it's okay for me to have my recon gear in here?
You are absolutely using your recon gear in this moment.
I'm sorry, you said a speed die. Okay.
Juniper, you have 4 degrees of failure. Would you like to mitigate those 4 degrees of failure? Or will you ride this out?
Oh god, we're gonna die. I have 6 competency points, which is great. I'll use 4. So then it's still a failure, but not epic.
If you would like to use less than 4, your failure will remain the same. You could reduce it by 2.
Okay, that sounds
and have
fair.
the same results as if you had 0. So taking that down to a 2 on this roll, because you have the old rail line beneath your feet, it becomes very hard to truly become lost here. However, there is a split, a fork that you and Achira come to. You are uncertain as to which direction will lead you onward. Achira, you have 2 degrees of success on your stealth roll, and you are able for the majority of this journey to remain very quiet. Are you assisting in the navigation of this pathway?
Definitely.
I would like for you to make a navigation roll. However, I would like for you to do so with 1 black die of difficulty. You are moving carefully and quietly and focusing on how you are stealthing forward.
Would this be a situation then where my recon gear would still be utilized?
Your recon gear is being utilized on your stealth, not on your navigation. It is keeping you quiet. It is helping you to move forward unseen and unheard. You're able to
Damn it.
oversee the area. You have 5 degrees of failure, which is a catastrophic failure, Achira. You are not in a location hazard. What would you like to do?
I will use I'll use 3 of those to just have it be 2 degrees of failure, like Juniper had.
So you have brought it to 2 degrees of failure. Juniper and Achira, you make your way forward, traveling along the Ender's line. Hours pass. You camp. You rest. Do you light a fire?
No. God, no.
Do you cook any food?
Nope, just eat
We
cold
eat canned-
rations.
We eat canned food. This is only a 3-day trip.
You have dried food and other jarred food that has been given to you in the pack that 10-4 has given you. I will remove some of your resources as you continue forward. You have enough to last a few more days before you need to start to forage. The second day passes, and then the third. The forest does not seem to break. You begin to worry. Each of you can make a final navigation check with 2 black dice of difficulty added to it.
Would it be possible at this point to try to do a communication with the radio for the person named Digger?
You may. If
I
you
would
choose
wanna-
to use your battery at this point.
I would utilize, because this was only supposed to be 3 days, we've gone 4 days out. I would do a battery usage to make first contact.
Inside the case, there are a number of markings on the old CB radio that has been retrofitted to be able to be powered by the batteries inside of this suitcase. There is a small antenna that needs to be extended. This is not a quick situation. You spend an hour preparing to make this call. Where do you do this? And do you do it in the daytime or at night?
This would be at night, for when we're traveling, but it wouldn't be the dead of night, so to speak. It would be when normal people would still be awake. So we're saying 8, 9 p.m. ish, looking at them as the moon rises.
Very well. You set up the radio and you make a call to the designated channel. Channel 9 is 4104. Channel 13 is for Station 7.
Channel 13.
There is a buzz and a crackle. What do you say over the radio?
I would start with the code that 104 gave us on the radio. I would identify myself. I'd say the code, and then
The code is Ali Oxenfree.
like Ali oxen free. This is Achira here. I'm trying to get a hold of 104's compatriot Digger.
You repeat this message over and over again. There is crackling and hissing, static.
Repeat that, Shug. Can't hear much of anything except for static.
You hear nothing else. How long do you persist in making this call?
That's it.
You shut the entire operation down and close the case, having disconnected the battery. You're not sure how much life the batteries have in them, but you very dangerously perhaps pressed your luck with that call. You continued forward. You think that it'll still make another call, but you're not certain that you'll be able to count on it. Everything is packed up. Do you travel on?
Yes.
And Juniper, how did you do on your navigation roll?
Oh, I put that on hold. It's right here.
Are we doing one more navigation?
Yes.
That's
Do
two.
we have any difficulty on it?
2 dice of difficulty,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
I have 2 failures.
And you have 2 competency left, correct?
I have 3, so I get an extra 2 for the ability that I picked up, endurance.
Also,
Mhm.
yes, you had your original 4, correct? And you
Yes.
had the 5th one. Okay.
Okay.
These rolls are considerably better than they were. 1 degree of failure for Achira and 2 degrees of failure for Juniper. They're not catastrophic, and you could
No.
fix them if you spent the last of your competency points. Of course, that would put you in the wilderness now without a safety net.
I'll do it. I'll use 3 competency points, so I'm left with 1 after that.
You realize that you're going the wrong way. You chose the wrong pathway. You're going to have to cut back across and move directly through the forest off of the rail. It's going to take you another half of a day.
Okay, well, let's not use the radio again until we backtrack far enough and get closer to where we need to go.
I'm glad that you noticed that, Shug. Well, we've got the rest of the night for traveling.
Oh.
You use another portion of your supplies that morning and then in the afternoon, and you travel forward until eventually the trees begin to sparse themselves out, and you see a jagged form ahead of you. The broken remains of skyscrapers hanging like jagged teeth in a rotted mouth. It's nighttime again, or it will be very soon. The sun is setting, and the air is awash with an angry red glow. There is a silence and a serenity here. But when you look upon what was once known as Pittsburgh, you both feel an impending sense of dread. This place is a graveyard. It is a haunted reminder of a world that no longer exists, and while both of you have seen cities before, you've never, either of you, been close to Pittsburgh in this state. You've never seen it this close. There is a low-hanging fog. There is an empty, hollow smell. Rusted metal. Shattered concrete. Dirt and dust. You begin picking forward. You remembered that the river was your keystone, the place where you would know where to go to next. However, as you begin moving through the streets, I need you both to make stealth checks, please.
Oh, that is 4 degrees of failure, and I do not have enough competency points to fix that.
There are no dice of difficulty here, and you are indeed in a location hazard.
Oh, thank God.
Get it.
As the streets of the Iron Grave replace the forest that you had traveled through. You hear the rushing waters of the river some distance away, but you lose sight of it as you slowly find yourself surrounded by jagged, broken buildings, and you have 5 degrees of success. You are a ghost, Achira. You are a ghost in the graveyard. The same cannot be said for Juniper, however.
Since the both of us are traveling together, can this be a pool situation?
If you reduce your success to 1 degree of success for both of you, I will allow it.
Doing it.
Yay.
You see a figure standing on the horizon in the middle of the street. On either side of the road in front of you, the dusted, covered, forgotten buildings with shattered glass, there are spikes. And upon those spikes, dead animals hang. The dead claw and grab at them. Only a handful, perhaps 10 Romeros in total, baited on rotted flesh that is hung from what you realize, Achira, to have been forgotten lampposts, hooked over the street and then hanging from them on rope. Deer, skunk, and other creatures dangle as these shambling corpses grab and grasp forward, grabbing mouthfuls of flesh, but then still losing grip and seeking always to grab more as blood continues to drip down. There are flies and a putrid smell across the street. However, this is not what catches your eye. Standing in the middle of it is a figure. Alex, would you please describe Gravedigger?
Well, Gravedigger is taller than he was as a 13-year-old and bigger. Hit his growth spurt later. He's got a clothing that is loose and allows for movement, and carries with him a pack and a shovel strapped to his back, and is just standing and watching these two, seeing what they do.
I must ask you to make a spot listen check.
Yeah. Spot listen. Okay.
You have a full array of competency points, and with 3 successes, if you give me 2 of your competency points, you will in fact see everyone. Otherwise, you will only see one of them. The choice is yours.
I'll use 2 competency points.
You spend 2 competency points, and that does allow you to succeed. You barely see the other figure. She's good. She's very good. Moving almost as quietly as you move in this place. However, the other, clearly one of the wild children, is a little less quiet. And while they both are moving together, you have easily spotted them both now.
I nod and I hold up my hand in a gesture of stop.
I do this. I have no idea what he's doing.
Achira stops and would want to stage whisper, I guess. Ali, Oxenfree.
Am I close enough to hear that?
Make a spot. Well, yes, you already made your spot. Listen, you do hear it. You're not close enough to hear it clearly, but it does sound like it might have been Tinfor's code.
I tap on my chest. I will come to you.
I look at Achira. What? What?
Yeah, Achira goes to Juniper and is like, and then like motions off to the side to step back and away, and let this figure come to them.
And Digger, do you make your way to these 2 strangers?
Yeah, I will make my way cautiously over to them because I don't know who they are.
Achira, Juniper, you see something that takes your breath away. This bizarre, wild-looking man walks nonchalantly amongst the Romeros, passing through them carefully and quietly. They do not react to him.
Aiden right now, or did he just?
Is that a ghost? Is he a ghost? Is that why that's working? I don't understand.
How is that possible?
He says not a word. He moves almost as carefully and quietly as you do, Achira. You respect his skill. But there's something unnatural about him. He looks feral in a way that you recognize in Juniper, but he's moving through this dangerous street as if walking through a minefield while dancing. Step by step, carefully moving through this. He makes it to both of you unscathed and without any of the Romeros taking notice of him.
How did you do that?
Practice. I assume I heard the code correctly.
Ali oxen free.
That's what I thought I heard. So you're here from 10-4?
Yes, I'm Achira, and this is Juniper.
Sure.
We were sent to you.
All right. Why?
You have to come with us back to the
You're
camp.
loud. You're loud.
This is my
loud.
normal speaking voice.
I need for Juniper to make a fresh stealth roll, please. With
Fine.
two dice of difficulty, as
No.
you have disrupted the precarious security that Achira bought you with her
What if I was
5
just speaking
degrees
up
of
so the mic
comprehension.
picked up my voice? You don't know what I'm doing. You didn't ask me if I was speaking loudly or not. Fine, I'm gonna roll it.
I trust you.
3 degrees of success. So quiet, no one notices me.
You do manage to. Do you lower your voice at that point, or do you continue to speak at the level that you were speaking at? Because effectively, this man known as Gravedigger or Digger is whispering, and almost to the point where you cannot hear him.
Okay.
So, are you speaking in a regular tone, or are you whispering?
I am whispering now.
Okay.
Glad he's yelled at me about it.
Digger, you know that you now need to move. They have not noticed you yet, but they have been awoken. They won't stay in the same pattern that they've been now for hours.
We need to go somewhere else now. Follow me.
Achira nods and like motions to Juniper and is just like,
So I will lead them somewhere else.
Where would you like to take them, Digger? You do have your own places here. However, Lucky 7 is the area that has the CB radio, and about half a day ago, for the first time in what felt like months, a call came across it, and you had almost missed it. But due to the amount of Romeros that you have tethered there, the noise that they make caused the other Romeros in the area to begin to shuffle and herd together. And you have a series of the dead that are interspersed within this section of the suburb that allow you to know when certain things happen. If there's a disruption in one area of your stronghold here, you know it because the dead tend to group together towards whatever noise or interloper might step within the boundary of this tight circle that you formed. And because of that, you were able to make it back to Lucky 7, and you did notice that there was a problem with the radio. However, you weren't able to get a clear signal through. You did hear this voice and that code.
Right.
So it's up to you.
I'll head back to Lucky 7.
Okay. It takes you about 20 minutes to make it back to the station. It is at the side of the rail station, just on the outskirts of the Iron Grave proper. There are a number of supplies that have been gathered here, and you have all of your personal gear that you can offer up to them should you choose to be generous as well. However, describe to me the area around this station and what you would have done to make it your own.
Okay. The area around the station is it's not clean, but it's not a disaster. It's meant to look abandoned on purpose to try and camouflage the fact that I'm there, in case it's disheveled and things are turned over, but upon a closer look, you can see that someone does live there. It's just a facade for someone passing by, in case. But there is, as you said, I have my ways of knowing when something's happening. So there's things like that around. There's also setups and different sort of perches that I can observe farther distances to make sure I know what's happening more removed from my home. It is also has a bunch of different sort of cobbled together shelving units underneath tarps and things that have provisions and stuff and things for trade and whatnot.
You're led into this space, and you can see that Digger knows his business well. This is well concealed, and it's careful. And Digger, you of course know this is only one of many places that you stay. You're not compromising yourself, and if 10-4 sent these individuals, they don't pose an immediate threat.
No.
So the three of you make your way there. There are tethered dead here. You find that they're around their ankles, there are heavy links of chain that are driven into the ground with huge spikes. So they move and wander, but they can't go beyond a certain space. In fact, it's a very small throw of chain so as not to make a lot of noise. And those chains have been greased well, and you see the dead sort of just shuffling around. But he has effectively used them to make a minefield. And if you don't walk a certain path, you are certain to get a little too close.
Yeah. It's safer that way. And I'm taking them here specifically because if they were sent by 10-4, I'm sure 10-4 told them about this place. And I don't want them to take them anywhere else that they wouldn't know about.
Also, by taking them through this field, assuming that they agree to go through it, you've closed the door. They won't be able to get back through easily without you guiding them back. If they were to do anything or to harm you or to try anything, they would be effectively trapped here and have to fight their way out.
Yeah.
So I ask you now, Achira and Juniper, do you follow Digger?
Yes.
It's just up here.
All right, then. Let's continue forward.
I'm going to make sure you follow where I go exactly.
You're the boss, boss.
Yeah. And I start heading up the path, keeping an eye on them as I do to make sure no one missteps.
I would like each of you, with the exception of Digger, to make a balance check. There is only one dice of difficulty in this check.
Right.
Is there anything that will go into this balance? It's like the first thing that I look at.
Will any of the climbing gear help me? I don't know. Goodness gracious.
It's like, would climbing gear help? Could it
You
help?
are in a location hazard.
Oh, thank God. I'm
Not
gonna, you know
me.
what? I fell out of asking that, and I'm going
Back
to go
in, baby.
into asking
A
that.
tethered minefield of the dead counts as a location hazard.
I
Okay.
get that.
But
Still.
climbing gear is a no for this?
You're not climbing. You are
That's
simply,
a very excellent point.
simply walking in the right place.
Well, I got 3 degrees of failure, so that's fun. And I have
Oh.
wow, look at all, really just opposite day here, huh?
You have 3 degrees of success, Achira. I have to ask you, do you wish to aid Juniper? You can spend your competency to help Juniper as you see that she starts to stray a little too close to the dead, and you see grasping rotten hands. Again, the Romeros have lost most of their skin over the years, but they stop aging after a while, and they become these formless, horrid human monstrosities and abominations that are like rotted corpses that have been frozen in time. And you see one of them now reaching towards Juniper.
I've cast my lot in with her, so we zero each other out. I'm gonna use a competency point to make this a success for both of us.
Is there anything that you wish to do, Digger, to help them?
No. I want to see how they deal with this.
Drax.
You watch as the other wild one almost is overtaken by one of your traps. And Achira, thankfully, protectively, grabs on to her traveling companion and pulls her free at the last possible moment. The dead thing grasps, and Juniper, you feel slick, rotten wetness smear across your shoulder as you realize how close you came to being grabbed.
Okay.
Good catch.
Thanks, Achira. This is kind of weird. Like, I'm a little bit into it, but also, I guess I'm not used to this yet.
It's effective. I'll keep heading up.
You make your way through the rest of this field and find yourself within the confines of a series of small structures that Digger has used to obfuscate his operation here. Just like Station 113, this small concrete box is a fairly well-made recent construction, though it has aged poorly over time. It has been maintained, but the cinder block construction is slowly deteriorating. There is a large iron door that's all too familiar to both of you. And upon it is painted in white, faded paint, the number 7. There is a smear of blood across it that is very old.
Well, come on inside.
Thank you for your hospitality.
You're welcome.
You enter into the small space. Do you go in as well, Juniper?
Yep, I go.
This is unlike the other safe houses that you've been in. It doesn't seem to be as active. There are some goods and materials here. There is an old CB radio in the corner. There's also a very old television with a dust-covered VHS player.
Oh, this is good.
So I'm gonna take a leap here and say you're the ones that called on the radio yesterday?
You heard, yes. We tried.
Yeah, I heard you. My radio wasn't in perfect condition.
Well, now we have 2 between the 2 of us. We have our semi-working one. It's got yours.
Yeah. So, I'm curious why 10-4 sent you.
Well, we're back at the farm, and that's basically not there anymore, because it's definitely our fault, but there was a big influx of Romeros that came. But the thing that is weird about it is that some of them were different. Some of them talked, some of them sang weird songs, some of them, tried to track us. And
I'm sorry, you said they talked?
oh yeah. One had like a whole song. It was very creepy. One used to be my friend, and she wanted me to like come be with her, and that was not cool.
That is news to me.
Oh.
Tell them about the big one. the big one that
Big one.
there was
a
a
big
giant one.
yes, and
It had a chainsaw and it could recognize us, and
Chainsaw.
apparently we took it down with a headshot, and later on, according to one of our other members, it got back up again.
I guess 10-4 thought you could come back to camp with us and help us make a plan, or I'm actually not 100% sure what the big
No,
plan was.
Juniper's got it right.
Is it that?
That's
Okay.
All right.
that's what 10-4 asked. Apparently, and from what we've seen, you've got a lot of knowledge that could help out a lot of people. You've got the
um,
energy of like Juniper, but you move more like I'm familiar with.
mhm. Well, I don't know if I can help with whatever those are. I mean, I'm familiar with Romero's, and you see, it's more about patterns. It's if it's simple. If there's something they want more than me, they go for that. So I make sure there are other things they want more than me. And then I don't, I'm not, they're not scary. They just are, and they just do what they do. Now, if you're telling me there's different things now, that's a whole different story that I have no experience with. This is easy. That sounds terribly false, but if it's true, that's concerning.
People keep thinking that we're lying, but why would we make something this weird up?
Well, you have to understand, it's really weird.
You don't
And
think we know that?
I'm not judging you. I don't know what you saw. I wasn't there. So, 10-4 thought I could help out with this particular situation you find yourselves in. Yeah?
Yes?
All right. That's interesting.
But you would have to come back with us. I mean, you seem like you have this totally handled. Like, don't you want to go take a quick break? Come with us and see
I mean,
the world for like a sec, and then you come right back, I guess.
what's to see? Everything's gonna look like this.
Well, apparently, new Romero's. Aren't you curious about a one that sings and wants you to wants to hug you and take you into its home?
I'm not a scientist. I'm not. I grew up here. I was here before everything went. This is where I lived. I've lived here my whole life, and there's a reason I stayed.
Well, you could come back. It'll still be here. I don't think
I
those
know.
things
I
are
know
going anywhere.
I know what I can and can't do. I'm just. You'll forgive me. This is all a little sudden. I don't talk to people.
I didn't used to either.
I didn't used to talk to people, and Juniper didn't used to talk to me. You know,
Oh, look how far you've come.
things change, and 10-4 did ask for you.
Yeah, no, I get that. I haven't said no. I'm just mulling it over.
Want to mull it over while Ashura looks at her tapes that she wants to look at?
What?
There are. I do have a number of things I would love to view.
Oh, you want to use and I point at the VCR.
I mean, if it's not gonna impose on you,
No.
there's a little puzzle I was looking at getting, my curiosity satisfied with, and then also I do have Pretty in Pink.
I don't know what that is, but apparently it's amazing.
I believe it's a movie. Is the VCR operational?
You have never used it. However,
Great.
you do have the generator. You have it usually running. You maintain it with the gasoline that the Ender's line provides.
Mhm.
Biodiesel that is enough for you to keep the CB radio active most of the time. 10-4 knows that you don't keep it operational all the time, but you could spare enough gasoline to allow that
Okay.
VCR to run for a short period of time.
I've never used it. Well, I mean, I've used one, but I've never used that one. But by all means, go ahead. I don't care. I can spare the energy.
Chira's going to, after she spent like a week or maybe even some time in the bunker with like going over these blockbuster tapes and the code that has been with them, and then finally having access to this VCR. I would like to think that she has, in her own way, figured out something, the tape to look at with this.
All right. So you're digging through your bags while Digger is thinking about this. Juniper, what are you doing? Are you doing anything while this is happening?
I feel like now that I know we're in a safe, secure space, I'd probably just start like poking around the room, looking for anything weird or different, which is almost everything.
As I'm mulling this over, I'm keeping an eye on both of them, and I take my pack off and I take my shovel off, and you can see the shovel has been definitely reinforced. It's and repaired, and it looks like I've had it for a while.
I poke the shovel.
It also looks deadly sharp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't poke it on the sharp part.
Don't touch my stuff, please.
Why do you dig a lot of holes? Is that why they call you Digger? Because you dig a lot of holes?
They call me Grave Digger.
Uh-huh.
Because, I mean, it's not the stretch of an imagination as to why they call me that. Because I happen to carry a shovel, and I happen to have a bunch of Romeros around my house. It is a fitting nickname, I assume.
So
other than Digger, no one is brave enough to go into the remains of Pittsburgh. He's the only one, and amongst the Ender's line, it's the only name they know him by.
So is your first name Grave and your last name is Digger?
No, who would
Was
be
your
named
dad
that?
named like John Digger? I'm still touching the shovel.
I slap her hand.
Hey!
I need you to make a composure roll, please, Juniper.
Ah.
And while you make that roll, Achira, you place the tape into the VCR and click play.
Beginning clinical testing. I'm not sure who's going to find this, but I pray that you can also.
My name is Outbreak, and
We tested a radical antivirus that produced complete reversal of the devastating H1N5 virus. We can reestablish a bright future without fear or oppression.
spread the truth.
Trust the
And the silent sentinels, those who never wait.
and always stand true to their words, true to their heart. Find us. I don't know our exact location. We've been kept in the facility maintaining this research facility for so long. But there are people on the outside who know how to find us. They know where the shipments are coming from. And if you are watching this video right now, it means someone has found our videos inside of one of our shipping containers. And they've passed it on, and they can help you. No one is safe. No one. Hear the video. Whatever you do, stay away from the machines. They are not what they seem. You cannot trust them. They're a twisted mockery of the old world's religions. Their belief is poison. And they will do anything in service of their prophet, an old man named Malachi. They are a cult, and they are far more dangerous than you could ever imagine. And they are everywhere. I've seen the trucks covered with snow. And I believe the shipments or transports coming from the south. And the power that would be required to maintain this facility would require...
As the tape ends, Achira, you look down at the clamshell case, and you again see the markings that are there. Left, the number 1 dash, I have the secret. You've realized that a number of these tapes have these markings, and they're all different. Do you quickly go through your bag and gather up the ones that are marked?
Definitely.
These are the tapes that have the markings upon them. Not all of them do. Only the ones that have the sticker, Be Kind, Rewind. Up, the number 1 dash, in 40, my name was. On another, left 2 dash, use it 2 4 1.8. On another, B dash, world live. Another, up 2 dash, 25.7, Derek Newman. Another, down 1 dash, after the 041 end. The last, right 1 dash, this is my W79 legacy, in all caps.
Did that video say something about a cure?
Maybe. We've seen it a couple times, but we can't figure out what's going on with that or all the stuff that I guess everyone says is written on the tapes.
This is one of the many reasons to leave here for a while and rejoin the rest of us to, if anything, find this cure, get this cure enacted, and take back what's ours.
I mean, a cure is not going to get rid of these people, right? I mean, a cure fixes the disease, but that sounds, if you're talking about something that gets rid of them, that sounds more like a weapon than a cure.
Well, a cure in the sense that it stops us becoming them, so they're
Right.
still them, and we
Right.
get to stay us. That's a cure.
No, that makes sense.
Achira's gonna look at these tapes now that Gravedigger and Juniper are like invested, and is going to spend time putting the tapes out and shuffling them in different ways, starting with left 1, I have the secret,
Okay.
putting my name was next to Derek Newman,
Yes. When you put those two together, it says up 1-in40, my name was up 2-25.7, Derek Newman, comma.
This is my legacy would be after Derek Newman, because I'm not going by the numbers there. That just seems like what somebody would say after they say their own name. Unless somebody has a different take on this.
Oh, where did you find all these?
They were on, actually, because you didn't say that you believed us before, an individual that ended up talking to us after they were made into a Romero. This was their pack. Their name was Blockbuster. Do you remember the video store?
Yeah, I remember the video store. All right. So you got these tapes from one of them that talked.
Yeah, he tried to eat me, got away, and he killed a bunch of other people.
Well, that sounds more believable.
I think we have his head back at home base if you want to see it.
I don't have any particular interest.
I don't know. Seem like you keep saying you don't believe us.
So you're looking at these videotapes like this is a puzzle, like these fit together or something.
I mean, it looks like it, doesn't it? And didn't you do anagrams as a kid back when they used to print them, or Mad Libs? And Achira's gonna put left to use it next to B-world live, and then after that, after the end, and look at that together.
Does that combination make sense to you, Achira?
Looking at it, I think Achira is going to slightly rearrange and go, I have the secret. I have the secret. Use it, world. Live after the end. This is my legacy. My name was Derek Newman. Or no. Legacy is like, how does legacy look? Is that like in a capital L, all caps?
It's all caps. You've been sorting this around. You've been sorting these out for a while, and you come to the conclusion that you're either missing information or you aren't looking at something the right way. You know a lot about, from what you've heard, of who Blockbuster was.
Any ideas here?
Is there any way of knowing if you have all the tapes?
I'm not certain if I do. This is what was in Blockbuster's pack.
Right.
So if there are more tapes somewhere else, I don't understand why this person wouldn't travel with what they had.
Does that name ring a bell?
I'm sorry, what?
Does the name ring a bell to you?
Blockbuster?
No, Derek Newman.
I don't think so, but... Is it the same video on every tape? The same doctor person on every tape?
Every tape that you have is different.
Oh.
All of them are varied VHS tapes. The thing that distinguishes them is the sticker that says "Be Kind, Rewind," and on the interior.
My God! Sorry.
On the interior of the tape is scratched a bit of this message.
Is it the code? Is that what it is? This nerd. Is it the code? Is it? No, it's not.
I believe what you're asking me, Achira, is it the Konami code?
Yes.
And Achira is a child of this era. You believe it is.
I'm gonna rearrange it into the Konami code.
What is the Konami code,
Was it
Achira?
up, down, up, down,
Up, down, left, right, left, right. Select start.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's
A, B, A, B. Select start.
Select
AB
start.
start.
Yeah.
Juniper, you do not know what she's
I know, I'm
talking
just
about.
helping.
Yeah. Achira rearranges it into the
You rearrange it into the Konami code, and this is what you have. Up 1 in 40. My name was up 2 dash 25.7 Derek Newman, comma. Down 1 dash after the 041 end, then you're missing a tape. After that moment, left 1, I have the secret. Right 1, this is my W79 legacy. Left 2, dash, use it 2, 41.8. Then you believe you're missing another tape. B, dash, world live. And then you're certain the last tape must also be missing. By your count for the Konami code, which is up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, you are missing A, right 2, and down 2.
So you figured out the puzzle, or I
That
have
makes
no
it
idea
more sense.
what you're talking about. I don't.
It's a console. It's
It's a thing from before.
yeah,
Okay.
it's Nintendo. It's Contra and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and
Did it unlock? Does it say anything now, or is it just?
we're missing some tapes.
Oh.
But Achira says out loud what she has, so everybody.
Well, that makes some
Yeah.
sense. So apparently this Derek Newman has something important.
I'm pretty sure that was Blockbuster's real name. But why are there tapes missing?
Maybe he lost some, or someone took some.
Or an insurance policy, so someone doesn't have all of the message in one place.
Maybe.
Well, that was not the main reason we came here, Digger. But
Right.
but yeah, look, ooh, we have interesting puzzles. That seems fun, huh? Yeah, come back with us, and we could all talk it out with the group.
Look, the more you do that, the less I want to come.
Okay, so the opposite of that is.
No, I'll go.
Oh.
I'm sure your friend is going to be very happy to see you. He lost, I don't know if you knew her, but she was also a part of our crew, Abigail.
Did I know Abigail?
You had very briefly interacted with Abigail. She was one of the Enders who had delivered things here. You and a few of the others had shared a campfire for a very short period of time, a few hours, but you know the name. And like most people, you don't have much of an opinion. You tried to stay your distance, but she seemed like she was trying to help others.
Yeah, I know Abigail.
She's the one who turned into this Romero that's sang and tried to get me to come to her. It was not great.
Again, with that, I'll put that on the back burner. I'm sorry, Abigail's dead. She seemed like she wanted to help people.
She did, I think. She helped us.
Well, I will have to gather some things. I assume we're gonna not leave exactly now.
It might be beneficial for Juniper and I to be able to get a little bit of rest.
That's fine. We can stay here. It'll give me some time to pack Well, make yourselves at home, I guess.
Is
Do
there
we have
anything that we shouldn't touch? Because
I mean, unless it's yours, don't touch it.
fair enough.
He said don't touch this trouble.
Mm.
Well,
I already
one, it's
touched it.
sharp, and two, it's mine.
Just don't touch the sharp part.
Yeah, just it might be good to replenish our food stores a little
Oh,
bit.
by all means, if there's... Don't be greedy, but if you need something, take something for the road.
Just
Yeah.
replenish what we started out with. That is all.
Yeah.
There are strips of dried rats on a hook hanging from a number of these hooks in the ceiling, and some pigeons that have been plucked that look a little more fresh.
Do... Mm,
Achira's used to road food. She'll go for it.
Fine. Meat's meat. I don't care.
what's the word I'm looking for? I would ask nicely that you try and not make too much noise while we're here. I prefer my eyes to be focused on other things.
Like the proverbial church mouse.
Yeah, it makes them a lot less effective when the eyes are pointed inwards.
I will say that Achira will put the food that they got from Digger at the bottom of the pack, so they eat through what they already know before they hit what they got from Digger.
As you're gathering food and preparing to make your way back into the wilderness, Digger disappears, gathering things of his own, stepping into the night and disappearing like a shadow. He seemed much more comfortable as soon as he walked out of the pale light of this small concrete box that has become your temporary shelter. Achira, you're gathering things, and there on the wall, pasted onto it, is the interior of a CD jacket. It's been so long since you've seen this one. 9-inch nails further down the spiral. And that is where we're going to end our session tonight. I want to thank all of our special guests, including Alex Ward and Alex Hillman. I wish to thank all of you for joining us, and I hope that you find your way back to us next Tuesday evening. We have such a long way to go on this journey, and we've only just begun. We'll see you next week.